She is a phenomenon.
The Russian team was awarded third place in the team figure skating tournament at the 2022 Olympics. The day before, the Court of Arbitration for Sport Cause disqualified the Russian figure skater Valieva for 4 years and annulled her results starting December 25, 2021, including depriving her of gold in the team tournament at the 2022 Olympics in Beijing. The International Skating Union, ISU, deducted Valieva's results from the overall team tournament standings. Thus, the Russian team dropped from first place to third. Gold was awarded to the US team, silver to the Japanese team. Bronze medalists at the 2022 Olympics were Mark Kondratyuk, Anastasia Mishina and Alexander Galyamov, Victoria Sinitsina and Nikita Katsalapov. The IOC said Valieva's case highlights the dependence of minor athletes on their environment. This case and its circumstances are further evidence of the need to consider the role played by athletes' environment in doping cases. If athletes are minors, then they are even more dependent on their environment, the IOC press service said. The Canadian Figure Skating Federation is appealing the ISU medal decision at the 2022 Olympics. Skate Canada is extremely disappointed in the ISU's position regarding the awarding of the team figure skating medals at the Beijing 2022 Olympic Games. The Court of Arbitration for Sport Cause has ruled that in addition to the 4-year ban, the punishment includes disqualification of all competitive results achieved by Russian figure skater Kamila Valieva since her positive doping test. The ISU does not apply Rule 353 in its decision, which states that competitors who complete the competition and are initially placed lower than the disqualified competitor will be promoted accordingly. Skate Canada strongly disagrees with the ISU's position on this issue and will consider all appeal options, the organization said in a statement. Megan Duhamel. They are given bronze, which they don't deserve, because if one member of the team is caught doping, the whole team is disqualified in all sports, and Russia thinks it's unfair. What's wrong with these people? The Canadian figure skater wrote on social networks. Tatiana Tarasova responded to the words of the Canadian figure skater. Who is she anyway? Let him mind his own business and say nothing about a country he knows nothing about. She doesn't understand anything at all, said honored coach of the USSR Tatiana Tarasova. The ROC will challenge the decision to deprive Russian figure skaters of gold in the team tournament of the 2022 Games. The Russian team was deprived of Olympic gold after the disqualification of Kamila Valieva. The Russian Olympic Committee will definitely appeal to cause the ISU decision on the redistribution of the final places in the team figure skating tournament at the 2022 Olympic Winter Games in Beijing. Our lawyers have already begun preparing the necessary documents for filing an appeal. We proceed from the fact that, in accordance with the current applicable ISU rules, the consequences of a decision on sanctions against an individual athlete, in this case Kamila Valieva, cannot be a basis for reviewing the results of a team tournament. Our legal position is based, among other things, on existing precedents in cause practice, the Russian Olympic Committee said in a statement. Vyacheslav Fedosov spoke about the situation around Kamila Valieva. In my soul, in my heart, Kamila is an Olympic champion, there can be no doubt about that. An outstanding athlete, I have no other opinions. It's a shame for the guys who, by all indicators, were completely stronger. As for the transfer of medals, the IOC, must propose how the ceremony will be, and a decision must be made based on what will be proposed, said State Duma deputy and two-time Olympic champion in hockey Vyacheslav Fedosov. Ilya Averbuk. I think this decision is unfair. Without emotion, I will justify this by the fact that at the time of Kamila Valieva's performance at the Olympics, all doping tests were absolutely clean, which means that her performance was absolutely legal. The fact that the information from the tests at the Russian Championship was hidden is not the fault of either the national team, the team management, or our federation. Here the blame lies solely with WADA, which hid information about a positive doping test at the Russian Championship. If the doping test of one of the Olympic Games participants had really been like that, then there would be no questions here. Absolutely all athletes skated clean and won with absolute dignity. I can't even have two opinions on the topic of who is the Olympic champion in Beijing in the team tournament, said Averbuk. Alexander Litkov spoke about the redistribution of medals in figure skating. Taking into account the fact that the guys who competed still have medals, even bronze ones, it seems to me that this is some kind of plus for them, because they still have medals. We sincerely worry about Camila. Nothing supernatural or global happened. She and I are together. I am convinced that she is a strong athlete, naturally talented and has all the natural gifts to win. But this is a difficult decision to digest. I think no one will go anywhere to receive medals for the presentation. Ours are definitely restricted from traveling. There is no point in going. Unless something changes, although this is unlikely, it is difficult for me to comment on it, said the Olympic champion in cross-country skiing. Elena Radionova. Camila is a figure skating diamond. She is one of the best singles skaters, the most talented skater I have seen in a long time. And with such a decision to ruin her career is very harsh. The decision she was given was too harsh. I would really like Camila to return to big-time sports after her disqualification, because she is capable of it. After being disqualified, to come back and win the Olympics would be something incredible, but I believe in her strength. She is the only one of the girls who continued skating after the Olympic Games. She found the strength to ride in such a difficult environment, and ride at a very high level. It seems to me that Camila will be able to return later. It will be hard, but if she wants, then she will definitely succeed, Radionova said. Andrei Nazarov called the decision to disqualify Kamila Valieva politicized. I saw a lot of speeches and points of view regarding yesterday's CAS decision on Kamila Valieva. Our wonderful figure skater, Olympic champion, was brazenly kicked out and banned for 4 years, deprived of her well-deserved gold medal. Real scoundrels and scoundrels who decided to annoy a 17-year-old girl and all of Russia. Of course, this decision is entirely politicized. In hockey, I read opinions that we need to negotiate and almost fawn over foreign sports officials. Here's an example of a figure skater. Look what these same officials in international arbitration courts are doing. We must understand that until we achieve victory on the battlefield, nothing will change. And victory will definitely be ours. Together we are strong, we vote for Russia. This is exactly what our election slogan says. We definitely need to stick to it and go together with one fist, said ex-coach of the FIBA KHL Championship clubs Andrei Nazarov. Natalia Bestemyanova. I understand that our team at the Beijing Olympics was stronger than other teams. And the fact that now we are not the first, but the third, this, of course, causes great disappointment. In this situation, there can be no petty joy because we were given at least some kind of medal. For our team at the Olympics there could only be one medal. Gold. This is a big disappointment, although it is clear that such a decision was expected. Lawyers must decide whether the decisive decision can be challenged or not, Bestemyanova said. Tatyana Navka. I believe that our athletes remain Olympic champions for our country, including Camila. This medal cannot be taken away from them. I want to tell the guys, just move forward, life goes on. I hope we will have the opportunity to compete at the Olympics in 2026 and prove that we are the best, Navka said. Alexander Galyamov spoke about depriving Russia of gold in the team tournament of the 2022 Games. Not gonna get us, he said. Svetlana Zhirova. They deducted Valieva's points, and that was enough for bronze. They didn't cover up. This decision is fair in terms of points, but for us these athletes are still golden. They understand that they won gold. And for official sources they are bronze. The IA can generally send medals by mail. They wouldn't be able to hold the ceremony without our athletes, said Olympic champion Zhirova. The press secretary of the president of the Russian Federation spoke out about depriving the Russian Federation of team gold at the 2022 Olympics. Upon returning from China from the Olympics, we honored these athletes as Olympic champions. We are convinced that for us they will always remain Olympic champions. No matter what decisions are made in this regard, even unfair ones, said Dmitry Peskov. We believe that we need to continue working with all relevant structures. If there are at least some opportunities to challenge the decisions and continue to protect the rights of our athletes, they need to be mobilized to the end. TASS quotes Peskov.